everybody. Welcome to DJ's 411. Welcome to DJ's 411. I ain't got no rhythm. Anyway, so this has been a very requested topic, just like every single DJ's 411 topic. So today's topic is about the power of perception. So yesterday, I recently did a video that talked about how to create your vision board and how to bring your vision into reality, the vision that we have in our mind. So after my video, I pretty much started thinking about, perception. And a lot of people don't understand how the concept of perception is controlling their life, and it's how it's like pretty much like how it's causing you to act a certain way and think a certain way. So you're probably wondering, what is perception? Like, what do you mean by perception? What does the word perception mean to me? So typically, the first thing that people think about when they hear the word perception is pretty much how they view things. How are you perceiving something, like an occurrence that's happening in your life or an experience? So there's two different categories that break down the concept of perception. So the concept of perception is pretty much either you're going to perceive something in a positive way or you're going to perceive something in a negative way. So that's life. It's like yin and yang. There's always a positive side of something, and there's also always a negative side to something. So what makes up our perception, and how do we come to that concept? How do we understand it? So pretty much for our perception, it's made up of our five senses. So the way we perceive things, the information that we take in is based off of all of our five senses. That's how we build our knowledge. That's how we build experiences. That's how we live our life, is through our five senses. So I'm pretty sure you're already aware of what the five senses are. The five senses are sight, taste, touch, smell, and sound. So those are the five senses that us as humans operate on. So how is the power of perception affecting your life? That's what you want to know. So how does that impact me? How does that impact my life? So pretty much like with the power of perception, that's how we bring everything into reality. That's how we figure out what's fake and what's real. So pretty much like growing up, our perception of things was developed. It was created. It was taught to us. So it created a belief that impacted every decision that we make going forward. For example, so let's say you're a child and you have a toy, okay? And your parent tells you no. When you're a child and you hear the word no, you didn't come out of the womb knowing that the word no was a bad word. You didn't come out the womb knowing that the word no was going to cause you dissatisfaction, until it kept happening, until your parents attached that emotion to that word, because they created that perception for you. So it all starts when we were younger. Our parents didn't realize what they were doing, but at the same time, it's something that has impacted us through adulthood. So when you're a child and you hear the word no, you automatically feel like, well, why can't I have it? Oh, you feel a lack of. And as we grow into becoming an adult, which we are, when we hear the word no, it makes us also feel like there's a lack of too. So everything kind of starts when we're younger and we just don't realize it, but that's just what it is. And the sooner we realize that we're in control of how we perceive things, and that we're in control of the way we allow the outside world to affect us internally, then that's when you become unstoppable, and that's when you can really set the tone for your life. So with perception is through the five senses, that's how we perceive things, okay? I'm trying to break this down as easy as possible. So let's say, let's talk about weight, being slim and being thick. When you hear the word fat, you might automatically have like a negative feeling that's attached to that word. Who said that being thick or heavy set was bad? Who said that? That doesn't doesn't make any sense to me. Who says that being heavy set or being skinny is right or wrong? So being skinny is considered beautiful, considered what's the word I'm looking for? Jesus. What's politically correct, or what's socially correct? That's what I'm looking for. The socially correct. Oh, being thin is how it should be. Whoever said that? That's because the world has put this whole created this perception around being slim to relating it to beauty. But who says being thick isn't beauty? Who says having curves isn't beauty? Who says that? But the people around that created that. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. How are you going to tell me I'm not beautiful because I don't look like you? Because I don't look like you, I'm not beautiful? That doesn't even make sense. Like, I would never even let anyone make me feel that way if I was heavy set. Like, no, I'm going to live and just live my life because I perceive myself as beautiful. But at the same time, a lot of people are allowing other people's perception of them create their reality and create how they think of themselves and how they feel of themselves and how they view themselves, which is the worst thing you could possibly do. You want to be able to create your own perception. Growing up, when we were younger, we didn't understand how the mind worked. We didn't understand how our thoughts really impacted like our actions. We didn't understand that stuff. But now as an adult, there's no reason for us to make the excuses as to why we can't create the perception in the world that we want for ourselves. Like, let's talk about success versus poverty. Okay. Who says that in order to be successful, you have to have tons of money? Who says that? Success means how close you've come towards your goal. That's what success really means. That's how, like, you don't, everyone's definition of success is not going to be the same. And a lot of people have to realize that when you hear the word success, you automatically think that it has to be related to money, and that's not the case. Hey, Jaleesa, thank you for joining. I stayed up later tonight. I didn't even take my face off because I was like, you know what, Khadijah, if you don't take your makeup off, you're not going to sleep. So stay up, do your video, work on your business, and just keep on going. I was like, oh my God, I could use some sleep right now. But I said, I fighted that urge because I knew I had moves to make. So I stayed up. So thank you for joining, Jaleesa. I appreciate the support. But talking back about the topic. So who says that just because someone else has a perception for us that's how we actually have to believe them? That's the problem. We fall for anything. If you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for anything. And that's why a lot of people are living in other people's perception. So back to the example with the weight. So who says being slim is beautiful? Who says being thick is not beautiful? The world has created this false perception of beauty, and unfortunately a lot of people believe in it. So let's say, I need something to give like an example. So everything starts with a belief when it comes to your perception. If you believe in it, then you're going to think it's true. Or if other people believe in it, if there's enough people to believe in a certain thing, you're going to think it's true because you're going to reference off that source. So let's give this pen, for example. How do we know this was initially called a pen? This could have been called anything under the sun. This could have been called a shoe. But because so many people have called this a pen, and because we were taught that this is a pen, we believe that this is a pen. But how do we really know this is the pen? Someone created that perception for us in order for us to believe in that. So how can you really say, how can you really know that this is the life you're supposed to live because other people are telling you this is the life you're supposed to live? This is the roadmap you're supposed to follow because that's what everyone else does. And because everyone else does that, that's correct. Does that make sense? And the only way we know something is real or fake in this world is because we're referencing off of someone else's knowledge that they got from another person, which is human and imperfect. So how do we really know what's true and what's false? How do we really know what's real and what's fake? We don't. That's why we have to create our own perception. Now, I'm gonna call this a pen because whatever, it's pen. But at the same time, how do I really know this is a pen? Okay, someone else told me this, so that's what I believed in. But why are we so gullible to believe something that someone else says? That's another thing. We have to do the research ourselves before we actually believe what someone else is saying. So, okay, the pen, for example, I will research the usage of this. I would research the history. I would research every little detail that explains why this is a pen versus taking someone else's opinion. Even though the history is going to show, the track is going to show that this is a pen because it's a word of mouth. But at the same time, how do we really know? It all starts with our belief. And once you change your belief of allowing other people to impact your way of thinking, that's when you take control of your life. So for me personally, I decided to perceive everything in a positive way. So let's take the example of you losing your job. So let's say you lost your job today. You have no job. You can't pay your bills. You don't know what you're going to do. And you automatically perceive that as a bad situation. A lot of people, if you were to lose your job today or tomorrow, you're automatically going to say, this is the worst day of my life. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do. And you're going to perceive it as something bad. But the moment you know that you change your mindset is when you perceive things in a more positive way, when you perceive things to work for you versus working against you. So let's say losing your job. Who says losing your job is something bad? Like, I look at it this way for me personally. Before I became a banker, I was in retail management. And being in retail management, it seems so simple, it seems so easy to a degree, but at the same time, I thought it was like super challenging. But the moment that I made a shift in my life, in my career path, was the moment that I realized I was wasting so much time being in retail and I could have been completely somewhere else in my life. So I could have perceived that as when I moved to Pennsylvania that, oh my God, I'm not going to be around my friends. I'm not going to be around my family. I'm not going to have anything to do. I don't know anyone. Oh my gosh. I could have perceived it that way. But instead, I perceived it as an opportunity for me to start fresh, as an opportunity for me to take the time and distance myself from people to focus on myself. I took it as an opportunity for me to grow, develop, love, get to know myself, get to know and build my relationship and have that faith in each other that we're going to take care of each other. We're going to love each other right here, right now, because we're all we have right now in this area. Like, I took it as that opportunity versus as the other one. And it's the same thing as if you were to lose your job. Instead of taking it as, oh, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills, I'm not going to be able to do this and that, look at it as an opportunity for you to find something better. In order for you to grow in life, you have to let things go. Does that make sense? In order for you to grow in life, you have to let things go. Some people are so afraid of saying goodbye. And saying goodbye always isn't a bad thing. In order for you to have something new and to find something that you were really destined to have and destined to be, you have to let the past go. You have to let things go and you have to move on. So everything's about how you perceive it. It can either be perceived as something negative or it can be perceived as something positive. Perception is a two-way street. You can either go this route or you can go that route. And you just have to create your own perception and consciously make an effort to create your own meaning for your own life and create your own meaning for the things going on around you. So everyone has their own perception. Everyone has their own belief because it all starts on from how we were brought up. But at the same time, we can't allow that to be a way for that to cripple us. We can't allow that to constantly be a story that we keep telling ourselves in order for us to be able to keep doing what we're doing. Everyone has a certain way that we grew up. Everyone has a story. Every single person on this earth has a story. Some people's stories are better than others when it comes to their life, and some people had opportunities. That's just what it is. Some people happen to be born in the right family or be born in a so-called better situation type of family. But that doesn't mean that you have to stick to that script. Does that make sense? That doesn't mean that you can't write a new chapter for your own story. So even when there's books that are written, like, they start off with the plot. They start off with like the format of how the book's going to be. But at any point, you can say, you know what, I want to switch this up a little bit. During the writing process, they don't just say, oh, I'm going to stick with this one mission, this one thought, this one concept, and just, that's it. I'm not going to have no new ideas. Anything you have to say, I don't want to hear it. Leave me alone. That's not what they say when they're going through that journey, when they're going through that writing process, when they're creating art, when they're just creating. Okay, you can't just shun away everything. You have to be open to change. You have to be open to opinions. Not saying you have to internalize every single opinion that everyone tells you, but at the same time, you have to take into consideration certain opinions that could help you, that could really impact your life in a positive way. So I hope you enjoyed this video on perception, and now that you know that you have the power to perceive however, like anything that goes on in your life, anything that's happening to you, you have that power to perceive it in a positive way. You can either be negative, like the rest of the miserable world, or you can look at things as a way to, work with you, not work against you. 99% of the population literally is in this matrix of that life happens to me, not for me. Life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. And as soon as you realize that life is happening for you and not to you, and that you have absolute control over every single thing that is going on within your life, because right now you have the option to, you have the freedom of choice. You have the freedom of choice. No other species on this earth has the freedom of choice. We are the only living species on this earth who actually can choose whether if they want to change the direction and the course of their life. Other things do not have that opportunity. Like I have on my video, the D just for one, Fear Doesn't Exist video, it talks about how we are the only species who actually can change the course of their life at any point in time. And I gave the example of a tree. A tree, only thing it knows is to grow as tall as it can. That's all it knows. It knows when to change its leaves. It knows when to absorb the water from the ground. That's all it knows. It just knows just to be a tree and to just grow as tall as it can and try to survive. We actually have the choice to whether grow or stay stagnant. We have that choice. No other species, no other living organism on this earth has that actual choice. But as soon as you realize that you have the option to choose whether to stay where you are and be miserable and just accept it, you can be content and just be fine and just be like the rest of the 99%. Or you can sit here and you can actually make a conscious decision that you will achieve more, that you will become more, that you will challenge yourself, that you will not let fear or anyone else's opinion or anyone else's perception impact the way you view yourself and you view your life and you view the things and the potential that you have within yourself. So I hope this video really touched home for some people, and I hope you were able to hear some things that could help you and also help impact other people. So I'm here to help you, but at the same time, I don't know everyone. I don't know everyone around the world, but there's certain people that you know that I don't know. So do us both a favor and do your family and friends a favor that you feel like could benefit from this video, and share it. So share this video to someone that you feel like is allowing other people's perception to control them. Share this video if you know someone that right now is depressed, that's right now doesn't know exactly what makes them happy, or doesn't know right now what's the next move to make in their life, because they always had other people make decisions for them, or they've always had like some type of excuse as to why they can't do better for themselves. Share this on their timeline because they need to hear this. They need to hear that they have control of their life. They have control over everything that is going on around them. And they have power. So share this on their timeline. Like this video. It will be on YouTube on Deijas411 on YouTube. That's DEIJA apostrophe S 411, and that's gonna be on YouTube. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and love y'all. Like and share. See you later.